Today is a good day to fix capitalism. The lofty aspirations of Build Back Better and the Great Reset are unlikely to translate into material gains for those who suffered most from the Great Pandemic, not least because higher taxes to fund such programs are likely to burden the most those who can afford them the least. And now, more than ever, is the time to relieve unnecessary burdens on the working and middle classes. At the top of Rishi Sunak's priority list should be the cutting of taxes for these groups. These must naturally include cuts to taxes on their income, but they must also include cuts to taxes which disproportionately increase the cost of living for them. First and foremost, the blanket VAT tax should be reduced. Taxes on petrol and domestic fuel should be cut, and taxes on other consumables such as alcohol should be lowered. All these taxes are clearly much more burdensome for the working and middle classes than they are for high-income earners. Aside from being a morally just action, it makes good economic sense. It is these two groupings which make up the backbone of consumer spending in the UK and keep the economy moving. They are the very people we need back and active in the economic ecosystem, including in the pub, not just for their own sake. When quantitative easing, for which printing money, began in 2009, its only, albeit necessary, success was in rescuing the banking system. But it also had the effect of bolstering asset values and the wealth of those that were already asset rich, the wealthy classes of the UK. The banks and these people were responsible for the excesses which caused the credit crunch in the first place. In effect, QE rewarded their bad behavior. It did nothing for the vast innocent majority who lacked asset wealth. It merely devalued the pound in their pocket. These groups disproportionately suffered job losses too. The recent round of QE is likely to have a similar impact. While the collapse of some of our biggest high street brands impacts everybody, it is their employees who will suffer the most, the very people who can bear it the least. Put crudely, this bout of QE, which takes all the cumulative QE since 2009 to a staggering £895 billion or 45% of GDP, must not be allowed again to buoy the wealthy at the expense of the rest. It is the working and middle classes who support this country. They are the key workers, the delivery drivers, the producers, shopkeepers and entrepreneurs, and this is a moment to give them the break they need. Capitalism was broken by George Osborne. His QE belied trickle-down economics. To make matters immeasurably worse, he followed QE with an austerity program, an extra kick in the teeth for those who had suffered the most. If the current chancellor repeats his mistake, QE followed by austerity, there will be hell to pay. The reset we now need is to fix capitalism for the majority, not the minority. As part of this, we also need to re-establish small government, civil liberties and responsible personal finances, the values once offered by the Conservatives but which now so elude them. The only way to build an aspirational self-reliant nation is by removing obstacles in the path of their aspiration, engendering an upwardly mobile and entrepreneurial attitude across the country. Regulations protect vested interests in the big guy, who is shielded from competition, and possesses the wherewithal and resources to either withstand or dodge them when needed. Done right, Brexit affords Britain the latitude to cut red tape where required to boost businesses across the board, not just the large corporations. To set British rules to fix British problems. Done badly, Brexit would ensure we remain trapped like a fly in the EU's web. Fixing the economy and getting Brexit right are not two separate objectives. They are one and the same. As a result of the pandemic, the economy is forecast to be 3% smaller in 2025 than it would otherwise have been. There could be a hit of £1,200 per annum to every pay packet, according to the Resolution Foundation. Roughly 2.8 million people are now unemployed. This is going to dramatically rise as the furlough scheme comes to an end. Only by aggressively catalyzing the economic well-being of the majority in the private sector can Britain grow in the way required to leave the debt mountain behind and rebuild the prosperity of left-behind communities, not least in the so-called red wall areas. The UK fast-tracked a shot in the arm to restore the country's health. Now we need to fast-track a shot in the arm to restore the country's economy. The working and middle classes gave Boris Johnson his majority. It is time for him to reward them and provide a genuinely liberating Conservative government.